Earlier in the program, we talked about single limb exercises and why they are important for runners and why they're in our program. So today we're just going to expand on that topic a little bit and talk about how single limb exercises are great and how they train your balance, and also how they fit into our program. So single limb exercises are fantastic for stabilizing musculature, and they are an important part of any runner's program, again, because of the fact that during the running gait cycle, you spend a period of time on one leg. So making sure that you're isolating one leg at a time is important for training your legs equally, and making sure that you don't have one side that's compensating for the other because it might be stronger or have better balance or whatever the case may be. So it's great to try single limb exercises, and then you'll also notice that we may be progressing some of our exercises by making them into single limb exercises. So for example, where we have progressed our half kneeling overhead press to a split stance overhead press, or a half kneeling row to a split stance row, we can take either of those exercises and make them into a single limb stance exercise to make it even just a little bit more challenging. So you can do the same thing with your Romanian deadlift. You can make that into a single limb exercise, and obviously you can do a single leg stance squat. So there's a lot of different exercises that you can go from doing on two legs to doing on one to make them just a little bit more challenging for your leg musculature, for your core, for everything, and working your balance at the same time. Also, when you get to a point where you're really advanced, then you can use some fun toys to make yourself even a little bit more off balance. And what that's going to do is just challenge your balance system a little bit more, and just make that exercise a little bit more challenging and more effective. So, challenging your balance by doing something either in single limb stance or on an unstable surface, or even just by standing on a stable surface but closing your eyes, can really help with what's called proprioception, which is your body's awareness of where it is in space, which obviously as a runner is important. You need to know where your body is in space. And it also just helps with all of the little stabilizing musculature, like your foot intrinsic muscles, your foot extrinsic muscles, and all of your muscles that work in conjunction with one another, that sort of co-contract or contract at the same time to stabilize a joint, or they work synergistically, they contract together to facilitate a certain movement. So single limb stance exercises are an awesome way to sort of fire all of those muscles up neuromuscularly. So if you have access to a piece of foam, or even if not, you can do this. You can do single limb stance exercises standing on a couch cushion or a pillow. So you can do a poorly executed single limb squat. So you could do a single limb squat. You can take your dumbbell work and take that into unilateral stance on an unstable surface. The Bosu is a super fun piece of equipment. It's sort of a half ball on one side and a flat surface on the other. This one is really great for balance training, whichever side you decide to stand on to use it. So I love the flat side for stuff like squats. You can do single limb stance stuff on here. I love like a single limb stance dumbbell row to an overhead press. You can even just do single limb stance dumbbell curls on here. And this is going to work your core incredibly hard. So this is an awesome piece of equipment. Same kind of thing on this side. You can get all kinds of fun exercises over here on this side with the ball up. This is just a basic slant board, so this can be used in a lot of different ways, but you could work on your single limb squats on here if your knee tends to drop inward. If you just slant that foot up a tiny bit, you could even improvise one of these with something you have around the house by putting propping up a flat surface You just want to make sure, just make sure that whatever you're working on is nice and stable. It's not gonna slide out from underneath of you. But you could work on your single leg stance form on there, and then progress it to a flat surface so that that knee stays nice and in line. You could turn it this way and modify your single limb. Modify your single limb squat by sort of doing like a forward slide motion. Lots of fun options for working single limb stance exercises, and again, they're a super important part of a running strength program.